Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Al Haymon is a brilliant man. Still don't think he gets the credit he deserves for being a brain and really looking long-term, strategizing, and continuing to figure out how to lock down the boxing market, monopolize these weight divisions, and really keep things underneath the PBC banner. So there's been a lot of talk recently about, guys in different weight divisions moving up, and that's come to the surprise of many. Like, why would these guys who seem to be thriving in the weight divisions just decide to move up? Some say it's for legacy. I don't know. I say it's because Al Haymon has worked out this game plan, what I'm calling a heist, to use the talent underneath his banner in different weight divisions to keep some in the weight divisions and move others up to increase his chances on locking down more than just the 147-pound weight division. And we know at 154, he has that's been locked down by Jamel. But it really doesn't have anything like the 160, 168-pound division, 175-pound division. But I think he's working something right now, in particular for 147 and 154. But this is the thing. Now, Danny Garcia has already gone up. David Benavidez has gone up. Keith Thurman and Crawford have talked about going up to 154. Now, Jermell Charlo has already said he's probably going to drop those belts and go to 160. When Jermell drops those belts are going to be up for grabs. And that's going to give Danny Garcia, that's going to give Earl Spence, Crawford, that's going to give Keith Thurman, and even Sean Porter an opportunity. Because Sean Porter, the word is, for a chance at winning a title at 154 pounds, that Sean Porter would take it. So, could you imagine taking those guys who have pretty much locked down 147 pounds at different periods, Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Spence, Crawford, and now have them up at 154, banging and beating everybody's butt up there. I'm not sure about if Thurman can do it, but I know he would make the move. Getting up to 154 pounds and banging it out, and eventually those four at some point in time, or Crawford isn't with Al Haymon, but who knows what's going to happen. But we know Crawford's going to go up too. I can't see him not joining the Al Haymon team at some point. But let's just consider Crawford an Al Haymon guy going into the future. They would all get up to 154, and they would all have a belt from one of the organizations that Charlo releases. Okay? So what you'd have left down at 147 pounds, you'd have Boots Ennis, you'd still have Ugas, Ortiz Jr., Stanley Unis. I'll stop right there. Okay? Ennis, which it looks like he may be trying to work something to get over there into the Al Haymon stable, but we know he's got a pretty good thing going. But Ugas, Ortiz, Stanley Unis, those guys alone would definitely pick up a piece of hardware at 147. And if Boots Ennis decides to come over there with Al Haymon, which they are, everyone's interested in signing Boots Ennis. If that was to happen, I know they got the Connor Benns, they got the Buteyevs out there, they got the Avanesian, they got some Crowley, they got Crocker, McKinson. They already talked about Connor Benn, Santillan, you got Rocha. You got some good fighters out there. But I just don't think those guys are going to be able to handle the Ortiz Jr., handle the Ennis, handle the, the Ugas. So you can see where Al Haymon will still have a strong presence, probably have all the belts underneath his banner at 147. And depending on what Terrence Crawford does, if he joins him or not. But if Terrence Crawford does join him, and he has the Thurman, Garcia, Porter, those guys bubbling up, and Spence bubbling up to 154, you can see Al Haymon will control that. Now, if Jermell Charlo, and this is the thing about Jermell Charlo, man, right? If Jermell Charlo could unify 154 pounds, okay? Why couldn't Jermell Charlo go up to 160 at at middleweight, and do some damage up there as well. Okay, now it won't be easy because when you start talking about the 160-pound division, you got Golovkin, you got Andre, you still got Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now Jamal would would move up. He would give up and drop his belt and go up to 168, but that would free up his brother to get in there and fight like a Erislandy Lara, fight a Golovkin, fight Alvarez, maybe fight Andre. We know Andre's, got to figure out what he wants to do at 168 or come back down to 160 and defend his belt. But now you have a presence there at 160 pounds. And with Jermell Charlo's work ethic and commitment to boxing, I think he has a good chance of getting up there and winning some hardware, possibly unifying the division. Golovkin's not young. Saul's been doing this for a while. Who knows what Andre's going to do? He may just give up the belt. And these other guys, I just don't see them messing with Jermell. Jermell's he's a big 154 pounder, and he probably needs to be fighting at 160, just outgrowing that weight. So there you see there could be that presence in 160 as well. Then we talk about 168. David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo. That's all I need to say. Okay, those two guys alone can get up there, man, and just make everybody miserable at 168. David Benavidez is already doing that. But Canelo Alvarez, again, when you talk about 168 pounds, Canelo Alvarez has that locked down. He's the undisputed champion. Him and Golovkin are about to fight for all those titles. Let's say Golovkin beats Canelo, as I say he will. I believe Golovkin's going to beat Canelo. Then David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo should get a shot at Gennady. Who's Gennady going to fight outside of Canelo at 168 pounds? You see? So hopefully you'll see something like that happen. But then again, I don't know. They may go out there and fight David Morrell or somebody else. But when you look at 147, 154, 160, 168 pounds, with Al Haymon and how brilliant he is, he can sit there and kind of break up that 147-pound division and take some of those guys who've been around a while, but some of the elite talent, and get them to 154. And now he still has top talent at 147 who should be able to win all the belts and keep the belts underneath the PBC banner, and have his guys go to 154, and his guys go and pick up a piece of that hardware that Jermell drops. Then Jermell can go to 160 and should have a good chance of winning a belt there, maybe even unifying. Then going up to 168, his brother Jamal, if Gennady beats Canelo like I think he is, and if Andre doesn't get the fight or Benavidez doesn't, then Jamal can get that fight. But it's either going to be Jamal or Benavidez. I would hope to fight Golovkin at 168. So there you can see how Al Haymon could have an undisputed champion at 168, 160, 154, and 147. You better believe it. Why would Danny Garcia just all of a sudden go to 154? He can't even beat the elite at 147. So how is small Danny Garcia, no matter how powerful he is with his hands, going to go up to 154 and beat bigger guys? Okay? I'm going to tell you how. He's going to go up there, he's going to fight a PBC fighter like Jose Benavidez, and then by then he's hoping Jermell gives up those belts, and he's going to fight a nobody and get one of those belts, man. And now he's a 3-time champion. Earl Spence is going to go up, and then he's going to be a two different weight division champion. Terrence Crawford become a 4 different weight division champion. Okay? They're not going to fight each other. They're going to go out there and pick off these guys who are probably ranked, but who can't beat them, and they're going to go out there and win titles. So those you are saying, man, what you're talking about is far-fetched, you're talking crap. Adrian Broner did it. Okay? But the difference is Al is strategizing. Just think about it, man. It doesn't make sense. Sean Porter talking about coming back at 154? Sean Porter? His dad, Kenny Joe Jackson Porter, nowhere in the picture. But now Porter is talking about possibly, I know my schedule's busy, I have time to do all these things, but maybe I'll come back at 154. Why is he talking about coming back at 154? Because, man, there is a plan. And Al he's not going to pull the trigger on that plan until he has everything in place. because he's almost going to want like a turnkey operation. If I get this guy out, I want to put this guy in. And he wants to make sure he keeps all those belts. The thing is, he's trying to expand and get all the belts from 168, 160, 154, and 147. Now, getting all the belts at 140, not so easy. But if he works it right, it can happen too. But I don't know about 140. I know at 147 and 168, Al Haymon can have an undisputed champion in each one of those divisions if he plays his cards right. And if Terrence Crawford decides to come over to PBC, man, they could really lock things down. So I just wanted to put that on you all's radar, because I was sitting there thinking today, it just doesn't make sense for Porter to talk about that, for Keith Thurman to talk about it. Boots Ennis talking about it, but he still wants to do some work at 147. Crawford and Spence talking about it. You know, it just doesn't make sense. You know, these guys, why wouldn't you want to stay there at 147 with all the names? Well, those names are going up, and they'll still keep fighting, and they'll be fighting for legacy now. But it's still the same fights. But they probably won't be fighting each other up front. They're going to be fighting some of those nobodies. Each of them get a piece of hardware, then they go into the unification round robin. Al Haymon is smart, man. So don't expect to see anything that will disrupt those plans, because it's not going to happen. You just sit back and watch, man. Guys like David Benavidez, sacrificial lambs. Before he got shot in the calf, he was a problem. Excellent fighter. Just hasn't been the same, man. You get shot like that, mess up your leg, probably shouldn't be walking. You know, miracles happen. He's here, doing well. I'm happy for him. But he's just a sacrificial lamb. And for those of you who are saying Danny Garcia doesn't stand a chance to get against him, David Benavidez, this is his first fight at 154 pounds as well. So there's no difference. They're both fighting at 147, so they're both really 140, 147 pounders, just going up to 154. Okay, so it's not an uneven playing field. All right. But that being said, I think I'll leave you guys with that and let you digest it. I'm sure somebody will have an opinion, but I fully believe that Al Haymon is orchestrating 147, 154 pound heist with top fighters from 147, and the ultimate goal is to get 160 pound division locked down with a PBC fighter or PBC fighters, and the 168 pound division locked down with PBC fighters. And when I say lockdown, I mean an undisputed distinction. I really feel that's what Al Haymon is working, and that's why he's seeing the shifts in these fighters and jumping weight divisions. And Demetrius Andre needs to figure out what the hell he's going to do, because he's going to miss out big time. He should jump over there to Al Haymon as well. I don't know what the problem is with that guy. But we will see what happens. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think is going on, because I can't make any other sense of these moves and these guys jumping up weight divisions. I can't make any sense of it except for Al Haymon is orchestrating a big heist, using the talent he currently has. Figure if we can have those guys locked down one division, I just bubble them up and they should be able to do the same thing in the next weight division. And I really think that's what's happening. But leave your opinions below in the comment area. Like, subscribe, hit that ring notification bell. And I appreciate the support. And y'all keep cool and I'm in the breeze.